Nancy Heins-Glaser with Soma TV for All Art All the Time. Today we're in a wonderful space available to all of us, South Orange, Maplewood, and everywhere at the Walsh Library Gallery at Seton Hall campus, South Orange. And I want to have you have an opportunity to not only meet the artist that's here, but also meet the curator of this exhibit and almost all of them, Jeanne Brasile.
Tracy and I met, I believe, in either 2006 or early 2007 at a show that he was exhibiting in Newark at a gallery that was called Red Saw Art at the time. It was a show called Cast, and it was curated by D.C. Smith, who's a friend of mine. I saw, I believe, 2 pieces of his work in the show, and I fell in love immediately. And as a matter of fact, this piece, Chorus, was in the show called Cast, and it's in our show as well. We started a dialogue in 2007 about Tracy having a solo show here at Seton Hall's Walsh Gallery. And so we've been planning it for 3 years, and Animal, Plant, Mineral is the result of those conversations and studio visits and dialogue with one another. And it's a show that is curated by myself. I'm also the gallery director at the Walsh Gallery. And the Walsh Gallery was inaugurated in 1994. It's part of the university libraries at Seton Hall University. And since 1994, we've been doing about 6 to 7 shows per year here. The only time we're closed is generally during the month of August, when we need to take a break and things slow down at the university anyway.
We're going to take a stroll around
Sure.
and have a chance to talk to the artist, Tracy Heneberger. Hi, I'm here now and so happy to have in my company Tracy Heneberger. It took me 15 times to learn how to say it. How are you, Tracy?
I'm fine, thank you.
And we're here with your wonderful work at the Walsh Gallery, and we chatted a little bit with Jeanne, and I know this took a long time to establish the work. Tell us a little bit about the 3 pieces we're standing in front of now. This is some of your more recent work, I think.
Yes,
Tell
it
us a
is.
little bit about the 3 pieces that we
Okay.
have here.
Well, the 3 pieces on this wall represent the 3-word title of the exhibit, which is Animal, Plant, Mineral. And the piece on my right, it's called Cool Water. It's a piece made with red snapper heads, and it's from 2007. And this piece right here, the stone piece, is called Bloom, and it's from 2008, made from stones from Mabu on Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia. And the piece on the other side of you is called Compass, and it was just made last fall. It's a 2009, and it's made from sections of dried mushrooms. So these 3 pieces are actually representing the animal, the plant, and the mineral of the title of the show.
The reason I found this whole exhibit amazing is that you switch in between materials. You use natural organic materials, you use not, or for the most part you do bronze casting from those, and some you just create and forge and do on your own. How do you decide what you're going to do? Do you make shifts? Do you decide, I'm tired of that, I'll do that now, or how do you do that?
Yeah, I go back and forth between the materials. I've worked with the fish, with anchovies, with sardines, with red snapper here, with stickfish from the south of China. I've been casting in China and working in China off and on for the last 10 years. So I've been working with fish since 2003. I've been working with the stones since 2005. I've been working with the mushrooms since 2004. So these 3 materials represented right here, the 3 materials I'm most interested in. And lots of times I work with them in their organic state, and many times I'll work with them and then cast the pieces that I make in bronze. I'm obviously not doing that with the stones, but I do that with the fish and with the mushrooms. And then in addition to that, there are some other materials that I work with. But I think 16 of the 24 pieces in this show are represented by the fish, the stones, and the mushrooms. So that's a big part of the show. It's been a big, big part of my work for the last 10 years.
Now here we are at one of my favorite pieces. Would you give us the name and tell us your inspiration and how the heck you did this?
This piece is called A Waking Dream, and it's a brand new piece. As a matter of fact, I started working on this piece last year because I felt, specifically for this show, because I felt that we needed a drawing. I needed a drawing in here in the group of pieces, and I don't actually make drawings, but this is bronze, and this is as close as I come to a drawing. So the title of the piece is A Waking Dream, and as I said, I've been thinking about the piece loosely for a couple of years, and the title comes from something that the English writer Coleridge said. He said a poem can be a dream, but it should be a waking dream. And one of the inspirations for the piece was precisely that feeling of waking in the morning and having many fragments of dreams in your head. And unless you write them down right away, they're very fleeting. They run away very quickly. So to me, in one sense, metaphorically, these represented these kind of tentacle shapes, these arms coming out off the main body of the piece represented those ideas that were fleeting at that moment of waking. On the other hand, this represents many of the natural impulses that I've worked with in my work for years, because I've worked with octopus tentacles, and this certainly has some suggestion of that. So I hope it has a reaching out quality.
It's wild. I love it. So it really does. I think it may, because it's sort of almost, to me, it's also nightmarish.
Yeah.
So you got the dream part really good. But,
yeah, there's the Medusa side of things.
Exactly. Well, thank you. And I think we're going to go across the way now and see some of your other works.
Great.
Some of the older work, a little bit of different, more natural materials as well. So,
Terrific.
okay. Tell us how all these are made.
Okay.
Okay, we start with that guy, because he's one of my faves.
Okay, so this is a piece from 2003, and it's called Bahia. And Bahia is the name of a city that I lived in Brazil with my family, of course, when I was a child for a couple of years. And it's the place where I at least began to develop my deep love for the ocean. This is a bronze, and it's cast from octopus tentacles. And actually, it was a very, very tricky cast, because it goes down, as you can see, to basically 1 millimeter here at some of these tips. And it was cast. You and I were speaking earlier about the process, and this is the lost wax process, which is the same process that the Greeks and the Chinese have been using for millennia. Except this piece needed a specific lost wax casting process, which is called ceramic shell. Most of the bronzes in this room were cast in vestment style, and that's a different process. This process right here, ceramic shell, is really designed to get incredible detail. Basically, you take this object, which is made from octopus tentacles, and you create a gating system using wax, running off the octopus tentacle piece. That, when it is melted away, will be the channels through which the bronze will flow when you actually cast it. So you take the piece with all the gates in wax, and you dip it in successive layers of ceramic shell mix, wet mix. And it hardens, it's very, very strong. You put it in a kiln and you bake it, and you basically burn out what's inside. So you burn out the octopus, you burn out the wax, thereby creating these channels through which the bronze flows. And then you pour it. And inevitably, with something this tricky and this fine, you probably cast a couple extra tentacles as well, because it's not going to come out perfectly. You're going to want to have a little bit. But anyway, this came out almost perfectly, and there it is. And very few people suspect that it's bronze.
Because of the detail.
Because of the detail and how difficult it is to get this kind of detail.
Now, is this one next to bronze also, or?
This is bronze also, and actually this is the other brand new piece that I made for this exhibit, along with A Waking Dream. This is cast from from angelica roots. And so each one of these is an angelica root, a separate angelica root. Angelica is from the carrot family, and it's very common throughout Asian cultures. Not only as an element in cooking, but also because it's believed to have strong medicinal and herbal property. One of the reasons I love the angelica roots is that they have these representative kind of characteristics. When you look at each one of these individually, there's a little bit of a figure in each one, there's a little bit of a finger in each one. To me, it suggests lots of different things. But a rendezvous seems to be appropriate.
This is aluminum, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Mushrooms are one of those natural materials that you use, and sometimes are on the cover of your booklet. So is that another medicinal relationship, or how did you choose mushrooms? And tell us a little bit about how you do this.
Yeah, well, I chose mushrooms for a number of reasons. I mean, there are many connections between mushrooms and sacred objects and ritual practices, and I'm interested in that, but primarily I chose, I mean, I'm just attracted to the formal qualities of the mushrooms. I mean, I'm attracted to them for their formal qualities and also what I think of as their tremendous metaphoric powers. I mean, they're very suggestive, and in addition to, I mean, I think that there are a lot of them that look quite a bit like shells. So there's that connection to the sea in that part of it. And in this piece right here, I think that which is called Cloud. I feel like they're very reminiscent of cloud. So I like them because of their associational richness, I guess I could say, because they conjure up lots of ideas and lots of formal qualities in my mind. And this is the only aluminum cast I've ever made. This is aluminum, like you said. And I harvested these mushrooms in the Catskill Mountains in New York. And I've been working on corner pieces. I've been working in the corner for about 10 years now. I've made 10 or 12 pieces in the corner. And it's a part of the room that really attracts me. So this is one of the most recent ones that I've made in the corner. So the backs of the mushrooms are just cut on a 90-degree angle so that it fits snugly in the corner, and hopefully it looks like it's been growing there for a long time.
That's why it feels to me in the corner also. But I think one of the things that I want to say before we close off is that you've spent so much time, and as I said, you've had so many shows from Iowa to Oslo, and you've spent a lot of time in Beijing. That's really where you've done most of your work. True?
Not necessarily most of it. I've cast a lot of it. I mean, 6 of the pieces in the show have been cast in Beijing, but there's no underestimating the significance or the importance of the time that I've spent in China. For many, many reasons, it's been very important to this body of work. And this body of work really this is from 1999 to the present time, and I started going to Beijing in 1998. And I started casting bronze in 1999. And I started really focusing on the wall in 1999. And on these organic materials in 2000. So this dozen-year survey of work is very timely for many reasons. And China's been a big part of it.
Yeah, 100 to 300 hours for each piece. Is that what you told me? Some take as much as 300 hours. That's a lot.
Sure.
That's an hour a day for, a year.
That's a lot of time. And some of them there's a lot of collecting. I mean, that's included in it. Some of these pieces that are made from 800 stones on the beach that are very specific in nature. It takes a long time to hunt them down. Or these mushrooms, it takes so there is the whole collecting process. And then, as Jeanne wrote in her beautiful statement on the wall, there's the ordering process, getting everything that you've collected in the market, on the beach, in the woods, home, and figuring out in the studio, figuring out how to order it and what you want to do with it. And then just being open to all the surprises that inevitably occur.
I want to thank you for gracing the walls at Seton Hall.
Thank you very much.
As an alum, I'm very proud that Jeanne and you did make the connection and that we're here. And I just think I'd like everybody to know what a valuable resource we have right here on campus in our town. And certainly your show has enlightened many people.
Thank you very much.
To the quality of what we have here. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. That's Nancy Heins-Glaser for All Art, All the Time.